All right, welcome back to this week's PRL Week in Review. Cameron Arendt, the driver of the 3 car.
Dakota Nichols, driver of the 24.
And James Jackson, driver of the 29.
All right, we're just going to head straight into our announcements. We got a little kind of a big announcement here coming for the PRL. We're going to have our first ancillary series coming. So starting this Sunday, September 21st at 8:30 p.m., we're going to run our first PRL dirt race. It'll be in the Dirt Pro Late model, and the first race at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm gonna unprivate it after this broadcast, so I'll go ahead and post um, all of the information about this series. We have the entire first season schedule. It's going to be 10 race schedule, just straight points, no playoffs or anything, following dirt car driving formats there. So we'll go ahead. With that out of the way now, we're going to go ahead and hop right into the race.
I lost my mouse.
Here we go.
This race, we had Jackson Wade defending a Charlotte win with a pole here. Myself on the outside row.
Interesting. My paint scheme for Darlington has already been leaked. Because I changed it before James went.
Yeah, I caught myself and switched it back before because I figured that would happen.
Surprise, huh?
Yeah, there you go. That's not what I was running at
Big push from Richard here gets me out to the lead here.
It tended to be that kind of the case all night. Was get to the whole line as soon as you
Yeah, without a decent amount of cars out there on the outside line, there wasn't really much you could do out there just because the inside is just so dominant, especially if it had more cars.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. It's worse than Daytona. At Daytona, you can get 2 or 3 cars on the
Yep, I find that at Daytona sometimes it's a little that inside line will accordion a lot more, just with it being a little bit narrower and a little bit shorter of a track. Yep, I hopped out here. I didn't necessarily want to lead the race, but I got a really good push from Richard, and so I decided to try to lead that 3 laps to get that bonus point.
Must be nice.
Yeah, every time you got up there, somebody decided to abandon you, so you can never quite get there.
God, I don't know who would do that.
That or I'd get a hellacious block thrown at me, but
I don't know who would do that either.
yeah, it's weird.
Abort the mission, James.
I'm
Abort the
trying.
mission.
You can see I'm trying here the first 10 laps. I was really trying to get a gauge for is the top line even gonna work, and I couldn't get it to work.
You needed at least 3, and then even then, if they were pushing up front and the bottom, you couldn't make that top work with this small number of cars.
No.
See back here in third, you have Ed Tucker back. Good to see him back on the track.
Most
Oh
definitely.
yeah. Single filed out. Jim's gonna try to. Oh, I thought he was gonna try to look high there. I think here we just all settled in for a little bit. I should go for here soon. That 07 is on dig. You're right.
Can't quite remember how many laps I let out here in the front of at the getting in the stage of this race. I know I let some later on as well, but I think I had 9 total laps led.
Yeah, as much as it kind of sucks to be doing that kind of racing at super speedways, it was just nobody wanted to lead. Like,
Well,
I
no,
think I get up here.
after
I think
Daytona
I'm
was the
actually being
fuel
fine.
mileage mess that it was. You know, you had to save where you could.
Yeah, I think everybody was saving this time, which I think Cameron slowed down in the lead. I just side drafted all the way up to third right here by myself.
Yep, I saw that beginning couple laps, Jackson was really pushing me out there, and he backed off a little bit, saving, so I decided to save a little bit too, so backed up to him. That allowed you guys to get a big run on the outside and be able to come down in front of me.
Damn, I looked like I made it.
Miguel was not happy at that.
I think I did that. I think I did that 4 times this week.
And Miguel didn't have any friends out there.
No, nobody wanted to play with Miguel. I tried several times, let him in there. But yeah, Cameron, to go to your point, Cameron and Jackson ran a 51 that lap to your guys' 50s. So they'd slowed down.
Part of it is I wanted to get shuffled back a little bit and save some gas. You see a lot of that this race with somebody coming up trying to lead to get those 3+ laps led, get their bonus point, and then they dip back into the pack, trying to save. A lot of shuffling around and gamesmanship going on with that.
It was definitely the race trying to save fuel. Really, not much else kind of happened, but
I will say though, I know that Griffin led a bunch of laps this race, and not to be too much of a spoiler, but he ended up winning the race, and he was not scared to lead it. So all of us back here trying to save fuel, and it didn't end up resulting in a win.
no, and I think a couple cards got played that kind of made fuel not matter. It's hard to. We're walking a fine line. I really think we've done great with the fuel, but super speedways is just outside of just taking it away completely. I don't know how you fix that.
I think just early in the race here, everybody's trying to make sure they can make it on 2 stops, so a little bit more fuel potentially. Everybody not having to worry about it. They can just get in the gas and go. A little squirrely
Oh
there.
yeah, Griffin was giving me some shots, and none of them were square.
That's a 6 push if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, it was. I can't say it's from a lack of trying though. He was definitely pushing me. I just don't. I don't think I'm a good lead core in the next gens. They feel really like they don't. The bumpers don't lock together. I feel like you're just sliding on the guy behind you the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, we experienced it, you and I, Dakota, towards the end of this thing, and we won't cover it because we'll be nowhere near the front, but the next gen car just creates such a bubble between front and rear bumpers that it takes a lot to even get to the bumper, let alone maintain that. So
Yeah, and a weird arrow thing that I noticed. I went back and watched your replay, and you posted it the other day, and we were going slower when I locked onto your bumper than when I was about a foot off of you.
I
And I
know
just think that's crazy.
it's wild, and like, you know, we see the bump in here, but you're not going full speed. You know, we're
Right.
30, 40 seconds back of the leader later, full tilt, and I couldn't get to your bumper. So but this is lap 10 if we want to go ahead and jump to some action.
So it keeps pretty stable here, but we got our first big incident happening in lap 20 here.
Just not bury the lead.
Yeah, I don't know how I was able to snap back forward there, but just
That's some driving. I hate that it happened, but that's some driving.
Yeah.
I wish I could say how I did that, but it
Yeah.
happened so quick I don't remember.
Yeah, this is not at its best multitasking for Jackson there. Paying attention to something off the computer and worked his way under the yellow and under you. But like Dakota said, what a
Yeah.
save.
It was a save. And I know he said he was below the yellow line. What I see there is him still trying to keep it on the racetrack because he wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Yep. Now that we know exactly what happens, yep, he definitely just didn't know where he was. Tried to come back and just didn't realize that we were too wide a little bit.
And to Jackson's defense, we were lifting like crazy all the way around the track at random spots. So, you know, probably
Yep, a lot of
Oh yeah, no malicious intent for sure.
on a normal lap, that probably ends up totally harmless.
absolutely a lot of accordions happening into and out of the corners.
Yeah.
But I think I was able to get it back straight and just heading off about 10 seconds behind the field up until green flag pit stops. So first drivers to make green flag pit stops is going to happen on lap 24. That'll be Griffin Deer will peel off from the main pack, and then I also pit that lap. Not being able to save cost me that extra lap, so it'll be interesting with Griffin coming from the lead.
Run pretty close to green flag stops.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
jumped it up.
If I had spun any earlier, it would have really ruined a whole lot of strategy there. I probably would have lost a lap over that run.
There we go. We were just talking about the top line not working, and 3 Fords hooked up from the rear.
Well, we had been in the back the whole, like, other than Jackson, we'd been in the back the whole time, so we had extra fuel. We kind of cranked up the wick knowing pit stops were coming and jumped to the front.
Definitely looks like Griffin was more than happy to let you guys out there with him planning on pitting, and also with how many laps that he led.
Yeah.
I tried to sneak in behind you. I didn't pick up my momentum fast enough.
We were hoping to check out and just keep the hammer down while not have you guys react in time, and then you did. You guys figured it out and came back up, so we slowed it back down. No sense in burning that extra fuel if we weren't getting away. So.
Right.
Should see Griffin peel off right here.
Yep.
Yep, there he goes. Now me way back in the distance, I'll also peel off, but this main pack's pretty much everybody else is going to come down this next lap.
That's probably got to be one of the worst feelings, is pitting by yourself at a super speedway.
Well, yeah, for sure. And
especially for me, because I spun coming to pit road.
you spun again.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
not a whole spin, but I let it slide a little bit, a little Tokyo drift coming into the pits.
Gotcha.
That didn't really end up costing me that much time. I think I actually gained on Griffin down pit road. And here comes everybody else.
Look at that lock up on that 29.
Big lockup. Everybody's locking them
We
up.
were 4 in fuel the whole way, so no harm, no foul there.
Interesting. You took 4 tires here.
Yeah.
Oh.
To not take him in the second stop. But
We see Miguel missing his box.
oh, Jackson
That's
overshot
a little
Jackson also.
overshot the box a little bit. That's a little interesting strategy thing. I know me and Cameron took fuel only on the first stop, which he was way behind us, but I took fuel only, got back in front of you.
That right
And
here,
then
right here, you're going fuel only. That cost me my bonus point.
yeah,
But now we get to we'll look at. Now, did you get contact here, Dakota?
no, but looking at that now, I thought Ed spun his tires, and I just wonder if that's not net code.
Might be.
I think it's a little A, little B. I think he spun the tires and you didn't help anything being there. But
No,
oops, wrong button. That's why.
I wonder if we can look at that one more time. I do wonder if I didn't give him enough room coming out the box.
I mean, you guys are touching for sure, but like, when's it become real touch as opposed to the phasing through?
Oh,
This brings out our first caution, only caution of the race here. Jim just not quite able to get it back straight.
next gen car transit,
Almost got it.
worst thing ever.
Yeah. Well, and then when you're in the first gear and the tires get warm, man, there's nothing you can do to straighten it out.
Yep.
But just this is learning curve stuff for a new guy who hasn't done this a lot. Some of these tracks you can't go crazy onto the track. And I told him after the fact, I think he fixed it for the next one. But the banking here you can use, but you can't make that.
I was gonna say this is probably the worst transition racetrack on the apron.
Yeah, you gotta be on that where he starts to spin. That's where you want to be the whole time.
Yeah.
Have to wonder if he was expecting more of a Daytona type transition where it's flat all the way around and
Yes.
wasn't expecting the banking there.
Yeah, I would assume so. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, yeah. So I think this is what I was wondering, because you do have that where you phase through in the box, and then or you phase through each other in the box. But then when you come out, I was wondering if you guys got 2 X's there or anything. But
I can't remember that. I would say that's probably partly my fault, but
well,
I
there's
think I was
nothing you can
expecting
do.
him to just drive straight through Jackson because there was no collision. I think that's just what I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do. I just that's my thought. My when I first saw this Monday after the race was that you guys just met at the mesh point where it becomes live contact again, and
Yeah, looks like he was inside of you for a second, and as soon as he got close to outside, iRacing
picked it up.
got a little netcode moment, picked it up and sent him to the inside, but it was a weird probably moment where iRacing didn't pick it up on the instant point counter.
So we get our yellow here. Weird moment with the scoring, giving Richard the lead. But we'll go to the front.
Ends up working itself out. We think it's because he accidentally passed the pace car twice, and then that gave him a black flag, and so it ended up netting itself out okay.
All right, so this is a restart coming to lap 30. So we want to get ready for what you had planned for lap 31 there, Cam.
Yep, I have pulled up.
Yeah, that's I think we're getting ready to transition into that. For everybody watching, the iRacing community lost a great man this week, a very avid sim racer. I'm just gonna transition it over to Cameron. He's gonna get into what we've got planned for that great man tonight.
Yep, unfortunately over this past weekend, longtime sim racer, especially on iRacing, Doug McCollum passed away here this past Saturday. Very sad. Definitely, I never personally had any interactions with him, but always said to lose somebody in the community. Um, I wanted to go ahead and start this, but it's listing off some of his career stats in iRacing. He was had a very long career, started in 2011. His first ever win, won right out the bat, won on March 29th, 2011, iRacing Legends Cup race at South Boston. He ended up losing it or winning it by 1.046 seconds, and he also set the fastest lap in that race as well. Over his long career, he had 15,385 starts. He won 908 times. That's a 5.9% win percentage, which is crazy if you know anything about iRacing. He had 4,481 top fives, 29.13%. He had 1,234 poles. He raced a total of 529,886 laps, and he led 38,310 of those. And he did it real clean all the way through. Didn't rough anybody up. He only had 2.459 incident per race. Uh, really long career, really competitive in everything that he raced in. So here coming up to lap 33, that was his number. So we're gonna do a little moment of silence for him and just watch this lap. Just remembering him and keeping his family and friends in our thoughts. And if anybody know him, I knew them in the Misfits League. Will recognize this paint scheme. That was his scheme there. Me and Dakota were able to race that last night in the Manifold Truck Series, honoring his legacy there in iRacing. And with that, I wanted to, if you guys weren't aware, some more backstory on him. Um, the league that he was mainly a part of, left a large legacy in, was the Misfits League. Uh, they run two different series if anybody's interested in checking them out as well. On Tuesdays, they'll run the Manifold Series, which is the NASCAR trucks. All of their races start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for practice, with the green flag flying at 9. And then the FNX Series, which is the ARCA Series, that is a fixed setup series. Both of these are fixed setup series, but that race is on Thursdays at the same time. And if you're really interested in getting over there as well, the ARCA series is starting back up tomorrow night. So definitely check that out. We'll have the links posted to their Discord server in the PRL chat. So if you want to check that out, if you're interested, definitely go and do that. I know they'll probably continue to do some special things to honor Doug as we continue to finish out the truck series, and then back up the FNX series. So we had a little bit of a race. Oh, yep. We had a little bit of racing there. I would like to point out we were, before we even knew about it, we were at 33. Everybody was racing as hard as they could. I think that's really special. So singled out here, stays pretty singled out for about 20 laps until we get green flag pit stops here around lap 52. All right, on this lap, you'll see Miguel Rodriguez. He led a lot of the outside line during that run. Even if he didn't get as many laps led, he was out in clean air a lot, and so he is forced to pit a lap early here on lap 52.
Yeah, and much like Griffin, he's by himself. Like we discussed, it's a bad feeling, and you know, you never know how that's going to work out. There he goes.
You know what's crazy is how Griffin and Miguel end up racing for the win in this race. Considering, there was 4 of us kind of talking, knowing what we're doing. There was 3 of you guys in the forwards, and those 2 are just kind of winging it, falling in line with everybody else. They're not talking or anything, and they still end up racing for the win. So I just thought that was crazy.
Yeah. And had I, as you said, my guys we're all in a chat, Jackson, Jim, and myself, and had we known that Miguel was going to be by himself, we probably would have pit that lap with him to separate from the rest of the pack that comes now.
Which I guess for me and you, it just didn't matter, did it?
Yeah, well,
Oh, it spins again. I did not see that.
yeah, that's part of what I'm saying, man. Like, had I known, we might we might come that lap earlier. We don't run into this problem with Ed, and maybe I don't take my eyes off the brake for a second and don't speed. I don't know what you were thinking. You were doing about 80 at the line. I looked. So
Yeah, and I think my big problem was, seeing 7 people in my mirror as I'm slowing down for the pit lane. I was trying to not get run over, and I just overdid it.
yeah.
Brandon's stopping just early, getting into his box. Shouldn't hurt him too much.
And here comes Ed.
I had double fast repairs this week, so at least that was able to keep him out of the dump.
Everybody gets off without issue except for me and Dakota, who sit here and feel shame.
Oh, I think we were sitting here, and I look up in my mirror, and I'm like, thank God.
Oh, when I saw you not, when I looked up and you're not moving, I'm like, all right, cool, that'll work. 2 of the fastest guys.
What I will say is, I know we mentioned Miguel having to pit by himself. We cycle out. He actually cycles back out with the lead pack, so ended up being no harm, no foul. Granted, I didn't want to leave this line, so I was slowing us down, just riding behind Jackson.
Yeah, he called out you guys were doing like 176 or something like that. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to be full tilt. I got Dakota with me. And that'll work. It did not.
At this point, I knew I was good, so for this entire last run, I was just, every time somebody new would get up front, I'd just push them, try to keep them out there, trying to get them to use as much fuel as they could to see if I could potentially run them out by the end of the race. But yep, as you see, Miguel comes into the picture.
Gonna line up right with Griffin. And there they go.
Kind of ruined my strategy of trying to get Jackson to run out, so bailed on that.
I think Jackson knew, and I do think I kind of aggravated Jackson earlier in the race when he got in front of me, and I would push him out to like 5 or 6 car lengths, and then I'd fall back to Griffin.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely knew, because as soon as he realized I wasn't going to let him by, or wasn't going to pass him, he started backing it up on me a lot, which definitely
Here we
helped
go.
Miguel.
We got the most exciting race in track going on right here.
Only to be topped by Jim and Ed, as Jim slowly backs up to Ed to get the same thing we have going.
I think that's what threw me off, because we were talking to Ed, and I asked Ed, I said, are y'all hanging off the main pack? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, how are we catching you, or how are we losing you, but getting away from the leaders? But he wasn't even with the main pack.
No, he was nowhere near the main pack.
Alright, should be, I think,
We'll jump to the last
most.
8 or so.
Yep. I was quite confused here. We'll have to ask Griffin when he comes on in a minute if he was intending to try to fall back. Because I know for a couple laps before this, Griffin kept coming up the track and we just kept following him. So gets himself shuffled back now, though.
Yeah, I was worried about Miguel. I know he was towards the front or front of his line during this run, and knowing that he pitted a lap early, pitted by himself, had to run hard to catch you guys. I was worried about him running out.
You know, we've talked about this a few times this race, and I'm actually reading a post. Somebody's talking about the next gen cars at Talladega and the top 3 lines being useless, and this was, in a full official lobby. So maybe it's, I mean, the car count doesn't help, but maybe it's the core too.
Well, like Cameron said, you have to do a little bit of checking up at Daytona. You get a little bit more of an accordion effect there at full tilt, so that the top can work a little better. And then that effect is obviously exaggerated at the New Atlanta to an even bigger extent. But yeah, here it's just so wide, so fast. You can't do anything.
I finally make the decision here that I'm just gonna try to win this from the lead because my usual strategy is to try to win it from second, third in line. Tonight I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna try to win it from the lead. So I tried blocking a couple lines here.
Wish you would have been throwing some bigger blocks. Reckon.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Yeah,
Gotta get the old 24 out there if you want that.
Oh, I'll do it. Don't look. You tried to do it right there. Almost spun off the nose of that 27. 3 wide. Almost. Brandon is having a fit. I don't know what's going on there.
I think Miguel might have gotten into him there when he had to check up. Just trying to keep Brandon up there. Just wanted to get him best shot too, get himself a win, but just couldn't jump up there and also maintain the lead. So I hopped back down.
I was interested to see what the pack was doing at the end of this race, because you're missing 4 cars. So now I think the top's just going to be even worse.
Yeah, you'd have to be like, all right, everyone versus Cameron here to get the top to work.
Exactly.
Brandon keeps trying to make that line work. Can't get enough people to go with him.
Shout out Robert for staying in the draft right now, though.
I mean, Richard.
Yeah.
I think I do that every week.
Yeah.
I think I do that every week. Yes, Richard.
I think you're thinking of Robert from FNX.
Yep.
Because I do the same thing.
A lot of R names that we have to juggle around in our brains.
2.
Yeah, it's just 2. I
Hey,
just
now,
can't.
hey now,
I just can't get it right.
just go with it, okay? Hey, I've got Jim Jackson, James Jackson, Jackson Wade. I got all three of you mixed up all the time.
Yeah, all on the same team.
All running out there in Fords.
Jackson's Ultimate Race Works.
Not quite sure what happened to Jim this last round. If he got off of pit road slow, he's usually pretty decent.
Yeah, I think he missed the group off of pit road, and he was just far enough from you guys that he knew he wasn't going to catch you, so he had to wait for Ed to catch him.
Gotcha.
So
I will point out, even with him not winning, he has led the most. He has the fastest lap in this race as well. So he's our fastest super speedway driver at both tracks so far this season.
yeah, this could be useful bonus points later.
I mean, really going to be helping in the playoffs. He's sitting there P3 in the playoff points with 7 points. Coming to the white flag here.
This will be interesting. I have not watched how this happens yet.
I think we're 3 wide across the line, if I remember correctly.
Just I had such a riveting race with Dakota going.
Yeah, I couldn't take my hands off the wheel. I mean, there was so much going on.
Look at us, we're way out there in front.
Dang. All right, Miguel and Brandon get by on the outside.
No, Miguel gets hung up again.
Dang.
Didn't,
Yeah, make it 6 times. I did it to him 4 times. That's 6 times total.
I should have popped out sooner here, but Griffin was able to pop out before I could.
Oh, and what a drag race. Nicely done, Griffin.
Yeah, I mean, he timed that perfectly.
There goes Miguel.
Miguel money shifting. Let's watch this pass.
Miguel decided to take out his frustrations on the inside wall.
Cameron, I think you did pop out. You just went the wrong direction.
Well, so when I did, I popped. I was gonna push Brandon in the lead, and when he came up, he got into Griffin a little bit there, and I thought they were gonna wreck, so I popped back down low.
No, you made the right move.
Right there. Yep.
You made the
'Cause
right
I
move. You
figured
just
they
didn't have
wrecked.
help.
Yep. I figured if they get together, they might get slowed down. I saw Miguel coming up just too far away, and figured at the very least maybe they wreck each other, and I'm able to go across the line. But
to
they were
Dakota's
able to
point, if you pop the other way, if you pop top, Griffin's going with you.
Yeah.
Until
I
Brandon throws that block.
Yeah, I kind of felt that I was too close. I didn't think I had a run enough to get around him or even next to him. But with Griffin, now noticing that Griffin was gonna go with me, that was probably the right move.
I'd say so.
So we get our 6th different winner in
6
7
winners.
races.
Only one repeat winner, your very own Dakota Nichols. However, this is really impactful win for Griffin and the field as he vaults himself from 9th in the standings, significant ways back to the cut line to now he's locked into the playoffs, not having to worry about points for the rest of this season.
Yeah,
Regular season, that is.
we're 1 repeat winner away, or a Dakota 3rd win from Jim and Griffin being completely locked in.
I wanted it this week, considering I missed Charlotte, but it's my own fault that I wasn't there at the end.
Yeah, Same boat here. You know, we
Oh, and
you know, as you
go
mentioned
ahead.
here, the points pre Talladega after Charlotte, Griffin 68 back to Richard in 7th, since Jim was almost, preliminary locked in with the win, waiting further results. But
And while we're on the topic of Griffin, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in here, and we'll go ahead and talk to the winner here. All right, welcome, Griffin.
How you guys doing?
doing well. How
I'm
about
great. How are you doing?
Good.
All right, how does it feel to be locked into the playoffs?
Oh, it's nice. I was feeling like you guys were putting a lot of pressure on me at some point. When you guys were doing your predictions last couple of weeks, I kept hearing my name, and I felt like, if any track was one where I thought I would be able to get it done, it would be here. Just a drafting track, and I felt like the last couple races we did here, I think we did the Friday night races, and I remember one of them I pushed you, Cameron, right to the win, and then the next one I think I pushed Jackson to the win. So I thought, maybe if this time I get that opportunity, I'll try and hook it around you guys. But
yeah, you made me look good the last couple weeks. You almost spoiled the party for Jackson at Charlotte, and then you come out and do punch your ticket this week. But I mean, we knew you had speed. You're the only one from the FNX series that made it on points, so we knew you had the pace to do it. It was just a matter of getting it done.
yeah, I appreciate that. Charlotte last week, I thought I had it as well. I just was kind of running my own race for the first 2/3, just hanging out behind Jackson, and then I just felt 50 laps to go. I just kind of like tried to just chase him, and before I knew it, tires worn out and I'm falling off. So definitely could have maybe got it done last week, but I'll take Talladega.
And,
Talladega is definitely a big one to win.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think I think it can very much easily go one of two ways, and that's, you're riding around at the back like you guys, and then or you could be lucky and just be up there like you said about like James, or not James, Jim winning the first one, just hanging around there. And I felt it was interesting seeing like the three Jacksons um, pulling out. I noticed a couple times I could tell you guys were working together. Just it felt like the three of you would pull past, and I was like, okay, if they're together at the end, I think it was definitely a different outcome.
That was the plan, but pit road speed's harder than it looks, and took me out of it. So let's talk about your strategy for this race. I know you pitted by yourself on the first one, obviously not ever the strat. What happened with that?
Yeah, so I think right at the start, I did a lot more pushing, like kind of like I was full throttle pushing people around. And then I got out, and then kind of I was looking, and I tried to make it. I thought if I get to lap 25, I think most other people are going to pit around there. And then, yeah, I pitted, realized I was the only one, got back out, and thank gosh, Richard was coming around at the perfect time and got locked on with him. And had that caution not come out, it would have been me and him up there, and then probably you guys would have caught up. But at the same time, I got really lucky with that caution, just being able to get back on the same fuel strategy as you guys.
absolutely.
Caution was a good reset for everyone.
I was
Yeah,
also a beneficiary of that one.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
looking ahead, or sorry, you got something, James?
well, we
Oh, I
didn't.
was just gonna say, I didn't even realize you had fallen off, Cameron, to that point. So
Yep, I lost the draft little bit of luck coming off of Jackson's bumper. um, if got back there, I was able to get back up that caution in there at the end, but you have nobody. You made the right move at the right time. You got yourself the win there. I guess here, looking forward to the rest of the regular season, we've got Darlington, Michigan, and Indy. Do you have any in there that you got your eyes on trying to win that?
Um, I am looking forward to Darlington. I do like that track. I think definitely like turn 1 and 2. I think is some of the best, like some of the most fun corners that I have driving around iRacing. Like I think it's definitely like I think it's gonna add something in that people who can take those corners really well. It's gonna be it's and especially if there's no cautions like this, I think it's gonna be a long green flag run with just tire saving and then so I am looking forward to that. I'm not too sure what you guys have in store, obviously. I think it's been tough keeping up, I will say that, like especially with like the three of you guys and Jackson, like it's definitely I feel like you guys are coming to play every week. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Michigan as well. I think that's a good switch out of where it was. I think it was Martinsville before,
Yeah, it was
but I
Martinsville.
think yeah, I like Michigan a lot as well.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about Darlington. 1 and 2 when you hit it right, it's that's a damn good feeling. But boy, does it go wrong quick. So, yeah,
Oh
Darlington.
yeah,
Go ahead.
oh sorry, I was just gonna say I've been running a lot of practice, and I find coming off turn 4 is where I'm having kind of my where I need to be the most careful, I'd say. But like, yeah, 1 and 2, I feel like you can just kind of ride it high and then just rip it out of 2, and it feels great.
Yeah, no, and
Absolutely.
like you, I'm looking forward to Michigan. I'm glad that my vote carried, and uh, we didn't need more Dakota leading 160 laps, 190 laps at a short track.
I don't see why not, but okay.
Oh man.
So
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, sorry, you got something?
yeah,
Go for it.
I was just wondering, throwback weekend. You got anything planned for the 6th, Griffin?
Yeah, so I'm back and forth couple ideas. I'm torn on just doing like the classic, the Mark Martin number 6 Ford. Like that seems like the obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe switching it up, but I wasn't sure if putting a paint scheme that's normally on a Chevy on a Ford, if that's going to be,
Well, you
I
should
looked
mean,
down
you
upon.
should see the atrocities that these two are rolling out. So
I
I
mean,
was
yeah.
only
Just
I
stay
was able
tuned.
to fit. Yeah, I was able to fit William Byron's scheme on a Toyota. So
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, no, it's going to be something like that, I think. But I'm looking at. I've been looking some schemes like some '90s schemes, some early 2000s type things, and maybe even like the throwing it back to like the green John Deere.
oh yeah, the
Mm.
Chad Little, yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, but no, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Why? What do you guys have in mind, or is that a secret?
Oh, it's coming up next, I think.
it
Yeah,
is.
we're gonna unveil ours here soon. I mean, Coda changed his, so his is spoiled. He's down in the William Byron Exalta paint scheme. But me and James are revealing ours. A little hint. It's a Chevy paint scheme that I put on a Toyota. Some people aren't gonna like it, but I think it looks cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as long as you guys are doing it too, then I'll probably run with that as well. But if you guys are letting it, if you guys are revealing, I'll just say I think I'm gonna go with the Ernie Irvin or the Sterling Marlin, the Kodak
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
gotcha.
car.
That'll be
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's the one I've been working on. So that either that one or the Mark Martin. I'm still kind of back and forth.
I feel like Mark
Sweet,
Martin's
that'll be
tried and
awesome.
tested. I think the old are you talking the yellow Kodak with the
Yep.
red?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Well, we look
Yeah.
forward
Well,
to
I'm
seeing
thinking
whatever you
about it.
run out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I just want to say thanks again for hosting this and putting this on. Like I think this is this is awesome, and like I love racing with you guys, and I think yeah, just I hope I win more so I can be on the show a couple more times.
Well,
Yep, we definitely have had a lot of fun racing with you over at FNX, and really cool to be able to bring you over here and get you racing in these cars as well. Um, I know we always tend to find each other on track, and I think it's pretty clean racing, a lot of fun.
to
Yeah,
that,
it's definitely clean. I think maybe sometimes I feel like I'm racing you guys a little bit hard, but I'm just trying to stay clean, trying to stay
I
clean, you know.
I was just gonna bring up how you and Cameron seem to find each other's doors anytime you guys are side by side. Starting at
Oh yeah.
IRP and
Hey man, we'll find each other's doors and we'll keep it straight.
Yeah. No, I remember that the Iowa race in the playoffs last year. Just trying to get underneath you, Cameron, for like 30 laps at the end there. Just
Oh, I was holding on for dear life. That was not a fun race for me.
yeah, that was a great battle though. But
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys got anything else for Griffin?
no man, just keep on keeping on. We'll see you in the playoffs. If nothing else, if you don't win again, we'll I think we're gonna try and do a playoff preview show and talk to most, if not all, of the playoff guys.
awesome. Yeah, that sounds great.
All
But
right.
thanks for having
Well,
me. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for
thanks
coming.
for coming on, and we'll see you Monday unless you're racing tomorrow. But yep, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.
Have a
See
good
you.
night.
You too. Bye.
All right. So now with that done, we'll go ahead and move into our standings for this week.
Yeah, so
So
like we said, Griffin he's still technically ninth in points, but locked in on that eighth spot right now. 52 back of Jim for that seventh spot.
yep, we're still feeling the effects of
Dakota.
I keep saying Daytona. We're still feeling the effects of Dakota missing last week. Really jumbled up the points, and then not a great race for him this week, as I'm sure that he would fully admit. Um, but just scored. Me and Miguel really scored just about the same amount of points this week. I was just able to finish one position ahead of him, so hopped him in the points. But real close, especially those top three. But all the way through seventh and eighth, it's real close.
Yeah, I mean this is the column to look to here. Um, if we get a random winner, like a Ed wins or something, or Richard pulls one out, this battle right here is tight for that last playoff spot on points. So,
Absolutely. So,
never
I
know with
mean,
Darlington.
yep. I mean, I'm not. If I'm Miguel or Brandon, I'm not necessarily comfortable right now, but not need to make sure to keep watching out who's running up front and try and stay out of trouble if I'm those two.
You mentioned
Uh,
it. It was a rough night for me and Dakota. Both of us got our first finish outside of the top three with our eighth and ninth, respectively. But look at that, 5 drivers with 5 top 5s in 7 races.
Lots and lots of parity. I know that's a big word with real life or NASCAR, but we've got it in these, I guess, spec cars, you can say, since we do fixed setups, but really showing how we've got really a very diverse, but also everybody's very competitive and anybody can win any week.
Yeah, and Brandon and McGill, it may be quietly some weeks, but they're always there.
Absolutely.
No, when I was filling out these stats boards, like I had to double, triple check that Brandon had 5 top 5s because, like you said, he is quietly there every week. He is in the top 5 almost every week. Just slowly but surely finds his way.
And I mean, I think that those couple weeks that he finished outside the top five, I'm pretty sure he was P6 in both of those. So you could easily have had two more top fives if the cards fell the right way.
Yeah. I think. Oh, here we go. New, we got schedule changes.
Absolutely. So we added 34 laps to Darlington, so it'll be half length of the Southern 500, 250 miles, 184 laps. With that too, couple notes that will also say this before the race on Monday, but we'll have 5 tire sets, new tire sets that is. So um, shouldn't have to worry about tires. They'll be mainly conserving that fuel to get yourself in a good position, and it will also be a day to night race. So green flag, it'll be daytime, nighttime by the time we get to the checkered flag. We moved Martinsville to Michigan, and then we got Homestead is adding 9 laps to make it 200 miles.
Yeah, I think just for the championship race, just that added extra, 12, 13 miles for the challenge. Just change it up a little bit.
9 more laps of my misery.
Well, maybe a third time's a charm for you. You can try to beat me this time.
Start staying
Uh,
alive.
Hey, just don't speed down pit road, and you'll probably do it.
I'm hoping to make it past the pace laps at Watkins Glen in the playoffs this time. So
Hey, just
maybe
don't
I'll
go
be there too.
Yeah, just don't go 180 through the bus stop. Yep. So as we discussed before, we got 3 more races here in the regular season. We get a repeat winner here that will lock in Jim and Griffin into the player. It'll lock in everybody that's won a race into the playoffs. I know it's so close that those 2 spots can definitely be shuffled here over the next couple weeks, but this will be real interesting. This race, we'll see. If we end up getting 2 more winners, or I guess if we get 3 more winners total, then it'll revert back to points for that 8th spot. But if we get 2 repeat or just 1 repeat winner, that'll lock in all of the winners.
Yeah, and I
And
think
then,
is it 2 fast repairs at Darlington or just 1?
yes, yep. So we're doing 2 at Darlington,
I think both will
and
come into
then
play, honestly, for most drivers.
I know for me it probably will. Me and that outside wall and turn 2 really love each other.
Well, that's what I was saying with Griffin. Like, we talked about Charlotte. Like, you knew early if you were gonna be close to that wall on exit. Darlington, man, it'll feel good right up until it doesn't, and you pound that wall off of 2.
Absolutely, I think it's going to be a little bit of battle of attrition there. And then looking forward a little bit further, we've got that All-Star race at Twin Ring. Remember, for those of you that have raced with us this season, that will be a money race in some way, shape, or form. I've covered that before, but more information will come with that one. Then we got our playoffs after that, so definitely got a long way to go still left in this season. Half the races total. Looking at the full season, still left to be decided.
All right, before we get into the paint schemes, let's do picks for Darlington, and then we'll do paint schemes.
All right. I guess I'll go first here. My pick. Um, I'm gonna go with Brandon Hare here. I think that he wants to win, lock himself in. He's like I've said this discussed before. He's always up there. And I know that a couple weeks ago we ran Darlington in the Manifold Truck Series over there in the Misfits. And Brandon was out of myself, Dakota, and Brandon that were in that race. Brandon was the only one to make it to the end. So he's definitely going to be able to keep it clean. And if it becomes a real battle of attrition, I think that he'll definitely be there at the end.
If Dakota's not going to go, I will say that Griffin goes back to back. He's talking like he likes that 1 and 2. Like, he's got no problem with it. So that's a little concerning on my end. I think Griffin locks himself and Jim into the playoffs with a back-to-back win in Darlington.
I like that pick. I'm gonna do something a little controversial here. We like to pick non-winners and stuff. Give me James Jackson this week. I know he's sitting right here, but I'm serious. Like that. Give me James Jackson this week.
I hope so,
Yep.
man. I hope so.
I
It's
mean, to piggyback off of that, if this becomes a tire wear fuel race, you're definitely the best out of everybody that doing those types of strategies. So I can definitely see that happening.
Yep. And that's the main thing with my pick. I don't know how to save fuel at Darlington, so if it comes down to that, give me James.
I don't think fuel is going to be an issue. I think it's going to be tires, and I think it's going to be an untimely yellow, and it's going to be, do you take a set? If we're in the middle of a tire run, do you burn a set hoping to get another one, or do you, or do you stay out hoping to get a caution in another 15 laps, or are you in trouble and have to pit under green when people can run 15, 20 laps longer? I think that's going to be the game changer, is an untimely yellow somewhere in that second half of the race. So
I'm sure it'll happen.
I hope Dakota's right. Selfishly.
I think this is either going to go real long with no cautions, or we're going to get caution after caution. Just depends.
The interesting thing is the auto cautions, like when iRacing determines them. There's so much track down to the left that spinning out doesn't mean a yellow. So it'll be interesting to see, if somebody bounces back into the racing line and we get a yellow or not.
Absolutely. I think that it's just going to depend on how spread out we can get. I think everybody's pretty close in speed, so it might not get as spread out, especially with everybody just trying to make it to the end. But it's definitely, you can go one of two ways here.
Alrighty, and now we get into the main event here. I believe in my order here that this will be the unveiling of dirt logo. Anticlimactic. This will be the unveiling of Jim Jackson's number 70 Ford Mustang, and it ties into my 29. We are throwing it back to the 1970s and the drag racing scene. We're running Mongoose and Snake, the old Hot Wheel. They revolutionized sponsorship in drag racing and Hot Wheels. Mattel came to them. They were already rivals. They put them on a team, and they branded them with their Mongoose and Snake monikers, and revolutionized how merch was sold. You know, here's the reference. They, they became brand first. They sold the brand of Hot Wheels and their Snake and Mongoose nicknames. So just a throwback to the early 70s, late 60s with the old drag racing. So you got the gold 70 Don Perdome Snake for my dad Jim Jackson, and the 29 Tom McEwen Mongoose Ford Mustangs. It was my dad's idea. He came to me with it, and I was like, "Hell yeah, that's awesome!" Little team paint and throwback to his childhood. So
I
that's
think
where
that's
we went
really
with that.
cool. I think it's really cool to do. You got matching paints or matching themes at least with the paint schemes. Really, really cool. I didn't know anything about that. I'm gonna have to look more about that up.
I don't know if you top that. That is really cool.
Well, it's gonna get real controversial here real quick, so I don't think you do top that.
Well, since Dakota's is next, and since he kind of spoiled it by uploading it to Trading Paints, he's running the old Exalta 24. Tell us what your thought process was.
So, William Byron ran this scheme this year, and I kind of looked in. I was a big Jeff fan growing up, and this is his Exalta car from his final year in his career. And so, being the big Jeff fan I am, I kind of wanted to pay tribute to that. And Williams already ran it, so there was kind of already a scale and a model of it on a next gen car, except it's on a Toyota. A lot of people aren't gonna like that, but
Oh,
that's
boy.
my big thing.
You're,
I was really, really an avid Jeff fan. That's even that's obviously where the number comes from.
normally I would say that people are going to be unhappy about that, but our buddy Cam's going to top that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
no,
that's
don't
not
even
bad.
worry about people being upset about that. It's gonna get worse. So, yeah. So,
Oh God.
also, I had a Toyota. Decided with me being number 3, threw it back to Dale Earnhardt's Good Wrench 3 car. Changing the logos, obviously, or not changing the logos, but changing the branding to the PRL branding. But yeah, on a Toyota. So, to be honest, I realized about halfway through making it, and I'm like, people aren't gonna like this, and it was too far gone for me to go back on it. So here we are.
If you
I
thought,
think the topic of discussion this week's going to be why doesn't the Premier Racing Garage have Chevrolets if they're such big Chevrolet fans?
oh boy, yeah, and people thought that they were upset about Austin Dillon in the 3. Cam, you've absolved Austin Dillon of all of his sins with this. Oh
Oh
my.
man.
I thought, I
Uh,
was like, maybe, I wonder if Cam's going to run a Dale Earnhardt. No, he's in a Toyota. He's not going to do that. Here we are.
Oh, but he is.
oh no, yeah, this is my plan all along, and I did think about halfway through, I'm like, maybe I should have done this on a Chevy, and then I was too lazy to go ahead and recreate it on that. So here we are. But at least it was like I tried to get as close to the original as I could, given the new body style, and the shortened premieres and as long as good wrenches in terms of letters. So, but yeah,
Oh,
so that's
I will give you
what I got.
credit for sliding the number back to the door. I will give you
Yeah,
credit for
I
that.
didn't, yeah, I didn't slide it all the way back. I don't want to get too greedy with it, but definitely you can't really tell that it's moved up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. I think that's all we got. Now that all the paints are out and the picks are in.
All right, you guys got anything else you want to mention before we close here?
Not really. I'm just really glad I picked James to win this week, considering how cool those paint schemes were.
I'm
Yeah,
with.
I'm predicting that we wreck like lap 3 or 4 because just a curse from the NASCAR gods. But
Yeah.
Oh, Josh Berry's coming to race with us. I guess.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, we're gonna do. My dad and I are gonna do our best to honor the snake and the mongoose and try and put that 29 back in victory lane for you, Dakota.
I want to see it. I really do.
At this point, one of us is gonna guess right at some point. I think somebody guessed Griffin last week though, so
Yeah,
not too
James did.
far off. Yeah. All right. So with that, we're just gonna go ahead and close by once again bring our thoughts back to Doug McCollum. We're gonna have a short moment of silence here again for him. Just remember for all of us, keep him and his family and friends in our thoughts and prayers here. Um, yeah. So see y'all next week. Close it here with a little moment of silence.